Mic check. Everyone on Google Meets hear us or no? Mic check. Hello. 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 I did. There's like 6 people in here. Mostly note takers. Kind of quiet. Okay. Thank you so much. Let me turn it up just a little bit. Okay. How about that? Is that better or no? I'm asking the live. Okay. We're good on the live.
What about this mic? Is this mic good? Testing 1, 2, 3.
Better. Okay. So we're good.
Alrighty.
And we are going to get the show on the road.
Alrighty. So at 1:37 p.m., we will go ahead and call this meeting of data to order.
All right. There you go. There is the sign in link. So please sign in. It is? How about that one? Try that bottom one. Just fill in the form. We'll figure it out later. Yeah, we have the timestamp, so it's fine. I think I forgot to change the title. It's okay. It is not the end of the world that I forgot to change it, okay? So I Okay, yeah, it's going into the April one, but we'll fix it. We'll fix it to make sure that it's reflected for the May login. I'm seeing people start to sign in, and we'll give you guys a few minutes for that. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to find where the meet. I need the Google Meet. Yeah. I really hate the projector. It it doesn't like. Oh my goodness. Okay, now we resume our normal schedule broadcast. Okay, there we go. Okay.
All right, we're going to move on. But if you haven't signed, if you didn't manage to get signed in, just let someone from the, just let an officer know.
All
and we'll get you
right.
signed in.
So first of all, you might have noticed there's a lot more blue around. So shirt orders are in. I also see someone from the ATUs here too. I have some ATU shirts as well, so I might just give it to you so you can give it to everyone else. I'm probably wearing a shirt, as you can see. I am wearing one. Looks pretty nice, doesn't it? All right, upcoming events. So we have a few upcoming events actually. So in about 3 hours, we're going across the street to Ye Old Pumpernickel Tavern for the Dallas Urbanist May Mixer, and their theme is Multimodal May. And Hexo will explain more about what multimodal means in just a second. May 22nd at 6 p.m., we have something called A Night of Good Trouble by the Organizing School. And this is part of, some people here are part of the Organizing School, and I actually don't know what it's all about. Anyone want to explain what the Organizing School does? And Chelsea, you want to explain it? Come up here real quick and explain what the Organizing School is. Come up here.
Sharpie. um,
Okay. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. So oh shoot. My name is John Mallon. I am with the College of Constructive Hellraising, also data, but so the Night of Good Trouble is sort of our graduation event. We went through this whole program that taught us the principles of community organizing, largely following Saul Alinsky's model, Rules for Radicals. And so this is our end of semester event, and we are going to give a pitch for a project for a quasi-imaginary grant amount. And it's also going to be a progressive grassroots coalition building event as well. It's sort of like a two-part kind of thing. Oh, Dallas Reunion is the name of the progressive coalition we're building. A new one. Chelsea, it sounds like you have more to add.
um, yeah, so everyone, or like all the students will be presenting like a different grant pitch for the grassroots organization that they're working with. It's been sort of like a, mini research project for each of us. Really like just kind of getting to know like the, what the different grassroots organizations are doing around Dallas, because they're not really highlighted like compared to like bigger organizations. So you'll get to see different, grants from different organizations around Dallas. Yeah, if you want to be involved in some other, advocacy cause. But there's free food. What else? Free food always brings people. Oh, it's at Four Corners Brewing. No. Yeah, I mean, I've never been to this brewery, but
It's in the Cedars.
Give it up for Chelsea and John. So after that, we have, our normal dartboard meetings, of course. We have our book club where we're reading The Death and Life of Great American Cities, or finishing it, I believe. Finishing it, all right. And then we have a social on June 7th to celebrate the end of the 89th legislative session. Because I don't know about you and me, but this session has like mentally and physically aged me. No, not taking question. All right. On and then so where am I at? June 24th board meeting. So just more board meetings, just letting you guys know. Our next general meeting is June 28th. It's a week later than usually it is, and that's because we want to focus on this more important board meeting on July 8th at 5:45 for the 5% GMP hearing. We're going to give more information about this because it's a lot. Connor has a lot of information on this. And now let's walk through our legislative deadlines that we have. On the 19th, they get to move super fast. 24th is the last day for House committees to report a Senate bill. Realistically, this means it has to be held a few days before. The 25th is the last day for the House to post onto their general calendar. And the May 27th is the last day for them to read a bill for the second time. And then the 28th is the third reading deadline. It is also the last day for the Senate to consider any bill in a second or third reading. And then, of course, we have June 2nd, which is the end of the 89th legislative session, which is in 16 days. So that's just a little bit over 2 weeks. So we're almost there, guys. And now I'd like to present Liam Crowley with the Dallas Bicycle Coalition for some important information about cycling, who also biked 20 miles this morning with me. It might have been the bike ride too, I'm not gonna lie. You can just put there to
Hello, my name is Liam Crowley. Cool. So DART is starting up the. Here, I'm gonna move this. Wait. Yeah. So DART is starting up the Bicycle Advisory Committee. This was something that had been previously established but lapsed at a point I don't know, and they are reforming it. There are a number of openings for cities because they break up the committee by representatives from member cities. If you live in Rowlett, Cockrell Hill, Glen Heights, Farmers Branch, or the Park cities, and you ride bicycles occasionally, put your name in the hat because nobody else has. You should really talk to Becca from Dallas Bicycle Coalition. She knows a lot more than I do. I'm just speaking in her absence. Oh, and if you want $100, wait. Oh, okay. Fill out the survey from NCT COG featuring Hyacinth. Yeah.
Yes, we'll post him after, and also the recording of this will also get posted as well. Where's the flyers? I thought I put them somewhere. Start handing them out. All right, next I'd like to present Hexo Colorado, founder of Dallas Urbanists, Strong Towns Local Conversation. Now, I don't know if the slides are updated because
Yeah, literally seconds, like while Liam was doing his, I was still updating my slides. So who knows if they're even online? Well, it's on the Google slide, right? We'll find out. Well, does it work live? Let's see.
Nope.
So, well, is there a button that we can press? Because I did put a lot of information on those slides. Ah, there we go. There they are. So we had to turn it off and turn it back on again.
Yep.
Okay, so if you all have been around for a while, you guys know that we have our bi-monthly Urbanist Mixer right after the meeting, and we have a new location. And you may have remembered from last time we had a very bad venue experience, a mix-up for a mixer. So now no mix-up for a mixer. We're going to be at the old Scarlet Pumpernickel, and it's a really fun name, and it's actually super close by. So if you look on the map where the exchange is at the Discovery District, so that's where we previously went, you can see it's basically just the next street over on Main Street, and it's a really great place. I've eaten there twice on my own time. So definitely, I'll just say on a personal note, definitely show some love to the waiters and the staff. tip well because they're letting us use the space for free, and if the relationship works well, because like a lot of venues, normally they like charge people to do this kind of thing. So if they have a really good experience with us, then we can kind of keep doing it. And once you guys see the space, you'll see why I'm so excited about it. So that's right after the meeting. The theme of this month is Multimodal May. And if you don't know what term multimodal means, what does walking, cycling, public transit, and dragon boats have all in common? They're all modes of transportation. And I threw in a dragon boat in there because I came up with a theme after training for a dragon boat race, which I'm doing tomorrow morning. And I was thinking, and I took a train. The way I got to this at White Rock Lake, I took a train from downtown where I live to White Rock Station. From White Rock, I rode my bike off of the train and onto the trail. And then from the trail, and once I reached the boat dock, I locked up my bicycle and then got on the boat to do the practice. So I was like, wow, there's the 3 different modes of transportation in one trip. And a lot of people here do these multimodal trips as well as part of their commute or going to school, or they're just going somewhere that's more than a mile or 2 from the nearest transit center. So when you guys go to the, I didn't throw a QR code up here, but if you find is there an RSVP, the meeting event link somewhere in the, if you go to meetup.com and look up Dallas Urbanists, or you go to dallasurbanist.com and then click events, you'll find the RSVP page. So as you're doing the RSVP, there's a little form there that asks, do you have a multimodal trip? Tell a little story about it, tell a little blurb. And people with some interesting stories. I have no idea how many people actually submitted one. So maybe we'll end up featuring all of them. But so if you are during the meeting, don't get distracted by my screen. I realize I'm like right up front, but I will be collecting those and putting those in the slides for the mixer after the meeting. Another thing that I wanted to point out is I'm one of those people who are like really good at doing stuff, but really bad at bringing other people to help me with stuff. And so one of the ways that I wanted to start getting more people involved in the work that we're doing at Dallas Urbanists is writing. So I started a Dallas Urbanist Substack account, a publication, and part of the vision and goal of Dallas Urbanists from the beginning has been to be this kind of like connector, kind of this feeder. Like the mixer itself is kind of like a manifestation of that goal. And part of what we've tried to do with what we're doing with the Substack is create this. Everyone knows me for the videos, but videos are really hard to produce in a timely manner. And so writing is something that could just be pumped out very quickly. And so Substack is going to be kind of the center for where when things happen and we need to get some information out. So everybody who subscribes to Dallas Urbanist becomes a member, automatically joins this Substack. And then conversely, Substack sends an email out every time we post. So you can see from this update, for example, or the screenshot, we did a Substack post about the HB 3187. I'm glad. I'm excited for the day I don't have to memorize that number anymore. And then you can see we had a post about when the bill died. And so in that post, we said, hey, keep an alert out because there's going to be some more stuff, more things we need to kill. And then when Parking Forum was approved, we did a post about that. And I wanted to give a special note to Warren. So Warren is our first official correspondent. Is Warren here? There you are. Yeah, so this is a perfect example where the bill died and I actually did need to, yeah, there he is. So when the bill died, it actually became very important for me to get some kind of thing out telling people it's dead so people could stop calling the calendars committee. I actually realized the next day that I have to do it quickly because people were sending me a message saying, I did it. No, not that I did it and I killed it. I did it and then I called all 10 of the committee members. And there was that tweet or I should say the Blue Sky post that Patrick Kennedy posted saying, there's the representatives are getting hundreds of emails a day about HB 3187. So it's like, oh, we need to like tell people to stop, calling them. So Warren was the first one to have one of as a correspondent, and so there's a lot of volunteer things that we need help with. So we have to. Yeah, no sleeping on my presentation. So when there's on the membership form, when you fill that out, there's multiple volunteer options, and correspondent is one of the volunteer options. And so I would say that's one of the big things that I need a lot of help on, and that actually take direct inspiration from Data, the way Data has self-organized itself, because like this meeting, you're going to see people swapping in and out, and you'll see people who are specifically on media outreach, on policy research. And so one of the things that happened, this past week, fortunately, we had two double wins, right? We had parking reform pass, and and the like two, and we had HB 3187 practically effectively dead the day before, and so. But the Tuesday before the bill died, and before the Monday before the bill died, and before parking reform passed, I was kind of beating myself up for not staying on top of parking reform, because earlier in the year I kind of like I did a video. I kind of build myself as the guy to follow if you wanted to keep tabs on parking reform. I do. But when this HB 3187 dropped, I also dropped my attention on all other things. And so part of the challenge of running Dallas Urbanist is there truly is a lot of issues going on at the same time. And while we, successfully, there's other organizations that were paying attention to parking reform. I definitely am, I always kick myself when there is something that kind of flies under the radar and it becomes this really big opportunity. Maybe there was a road diet that needed people to come out and support. Maybe there was a community hearing for a bus route or a bike lane. And Phyllis was telling me about like in Addison, there's an effort to get some bike lanes in there, but then the owners of the Astoria restaurant, which I love, are coming out publicly against it. Yeah, and so stuff like that, it's like, oh my God, we need to, rally people to go there, but it's too much for me, like personally, to like keep tabs on when's the deadline, when's the hearing. So the idea behind the Dallas Urbanist correspondence is that we once a week we'll kind of have like a 20-minute stand up, and we'll be texting each other. But every correspondent just picks one thing that they keep tabs on, and they have to do some research. So rather than one person keeping tabs of 20 things, we have 20 people keeping tabs on one thing. So to recap and turn things over, check out DallasUrbanist.com has the link to this volunteer form. I think could definitely use a lot of help, and hope to see you guys. One more thing, because I know Daniel's going to kick me for forgetting this. Another thing that we feature on the Substack is if you have a personal story of, hey, here's my lifestyle change or that. I don't have a screenshot of it, but Daniel wrote a really amazing and beautiful article about how his outlook and lifestyle has changed ever since he started traveling multimodal and using Dart and using his bicycle. So that's something that's also going to be featured on the Substack. And A, check it out to find that article. But then B, if you have like a story that you'd like to share, then also write it and we'll feature it on the website as well. All right, that's all my spiel. Thank you.
Thank you, Hexel. All right, let's move on here. Okay, we have some social media updates from Rohan. It's irking Patrick, so I have to do it.
All right. Well, so I'm kind of mitigating my excitement over here, but we hit 1,000 followers on the Data Instagram. This is our biggest milestone so far, and this is pretty incredible. With over 100 new followers in the past month, leading up to the testimony and with HB 3187. Our rundown post, like the explainer thing, and it's hit over 35,000 views in total. And we reach more non-followers and followers, which just shows how our impact has kind of spread everywhere, even outside of just our following, people across Dallas, people across Texas. So yeah, that's huge. That's huge, guys. Well done. Well done to everyone who has been sharing and posting about us and telling their friends. Keep doing what you do best, because this is great. Our momentum is doing really well. Yeah, that's it. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Rohan. Okay, we're going to do a elections real quick due to the resignation of our Media and Government Relations, but it has now been renamed to External Affairs Chair, just for better clarity regarding what their role is. So I'd like to, we have one person who, David, and I'd like to invite him just to talk about what he wants in the future and some of his goals and everything like that. However, I'd like to also ask, is there anyone here that would want to run as a write-in? So I can put it into the system before we do. I do not see any write-in candidates. Hey, I had to do it before just to make sure, okay? But I want to introduce David. He's been running this show for the past month and a half since Evan has resigned, and he's been doing really great at his job. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're too kind. I'm a lot lazier than he claims, so sorry about that. No. Okay, so we've done a lot lately. We've talked to many of you here today. We're there in Austin for our big lobby day. I just want to remind you, with just about, I think we had, what, 25 of us? And we had, if we include drop-ins, we had 50 meetings, y'all. We had 50 meetings. Okay, people with the same amount of people have done far less. You know, I kept hearing from different people just how big of a job we did down there in Austin. So thank you. Additionally, I've been down to Austin myself a couple more times, testifying in front of the House Transportation Committee. That was a long night. Thank you, Con, for the snacks. Yeah. Okay, and I guess enough about that. Recently had a what else? Recently had a brief interview with KERA. I think that went pretty well. Should have a follow-up with NPR in a month. So looking forward to that. And then as far as the future, we're pretty confident this could be a dead bill, hopefully. You know, we gotta watch the Senate. You know, feel free to make some calls. Sure. See, and that's y'all. That ain't me. That's y'all. So good job. Yeah. 2,000. That's a lot. So as we look into the future, we have another big fish to fry. That's a 5%. You know, sorry, what are we calling it now? External Affairs Chair. So as External Affairs Chair, one of the things I'm hoping to focus on is having meetings with people maybe we haven't met with before. We got some new DART board members, including, what was her name? Someone help me. It was something McMillian. Yeah, Maureen Milligan. That sounds like that should be in like a TV show. Anyway, So we're expecting good things from her. So that's some good news. But we're hoping to, there's some new people on Plano City Council. We want to have meetings with those people. We had some surprisingly good interactions with some Republicans down in the House, including, what was his name again? I thought it was Baumgardner. So we want to have a meeting with him and meeting with various folks and just sort of build our reach and build what sort of allies we have both at a local level in various cities as well as in the state. So that way, if Shaheen or whoever else wants to try this again in a couple of years or during a special session, God forbid, we can be better prepared. And at the end of the day, I'm still an Eagle Scout. Let's be prepared, y'all. Let's keep meetings. If you have any suggestions on who I should meet with, who could be a potential ally, whether it's down in Austin or here in the region, please feel free to reach out to me. And I think that covers that. Did I miss anything? Okay. And please vote for me.
All right. So last chance for anybody else who wants to write into running into that juggernaut of a speech. Okay. So bylaws update. Today is the day we would like to vote on bylaws and adopting them, as well as adopting a code of conduct. The current version of the bylaws is accessible at that top QR code there if you would like to read it. We also have hard copies of a draft that is like one version before what's available here, but it's not substantively different, just some changes to wording and clarification and tweaks to make things better flow with Robert's Rules of Order newly revised, things like that. Also, like things like renaming a couple of chairs to better reflect what those committees actually do. So yeah. If anybody has any additional feedback, this is like pretty much now is like the last time. So I will take any questions. Yes. It's adoption. Yeah. So it's the need for it is just to make sure that we have, just a standard of behavior for, decorum when our members are interacting with the public, when they're interacting with elected officials. We just want to have something to fall back on to say, hey, this is what we expect of our membership. This is how we expect to present ourselves. Just, don't be an asshole. I do not have a written thing of the code of conduct. Can anybody help Phyllis with? Yeah. Yes. So the Media and Government Relations Chair was renamed to External Affairs because we just wanted to make sure that it better reflected the fact that that chair has also been interacting with more than just media and government. They've also been interacting with other NGOs and other grassroots organizations, and has just been kind of a point of contact for that. And then we renamed social media and outreach to community outreach to better reflect just that it's more than just like, oh, this is our social media guy. This is the person who's really interacting with everybody who's, on social media, who's in the public and not part of, like another organization or something, but they're like the go-to for, the layperson to get to know data. Whereas the external affairs is for organizations and governments to get to know data. Any other questions? Yes. Yes, we do. We do have that. That's what the sign-in thing is for. That's how we keep. yeah, it's just an ongoing list, and we keep it updated for, if somebody hasn't attended for like over a quarter, then it's like, okay, they drop off the roll, but then once they attend another meeting, they're back on it. Since yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Yes. Uh, definition of, as in this definition of disparaging. I mean, don't don't trash talk data don't be like, oh yeah, I'm part of data, it sucks, like publicly, like don't go around trash talking data on Twitter or former or X, formerly Twitter, or Blue Sky or whatever. Yes, the by the bylaws have a procedure for the executive committee to uh, reprimand a. Sorry, there are too many people talking at once. Basically, it's. I guess this is a good point. We don't. It's not completely. It's mostly. Let me. uh, well, you can definitely vote against it if you feel that way. You can also, there is an amendment process. The code of conduct is much more easily amendable because that just requires the executive committee to change it. But there is also an amendment process outlined in the bylaws at the bottom of the bylaws, and so you can of course propose amendments. So if you're not happy with it, we are open to suggestions. Okay, we are going to start the election now. Qui is going to send out a link to anybody who has registered, on the registered.
As of the last 5 months. So if you have not attended a data meeting, if this is your first meeting, you are not considered eligible, since you have, under our bylaws membership, you have to go to at least, I think it's 2 meetings, right? Once a quarter, once a quarter. So if it's your first meeting, that does not make you immediately a member. So once I start this, you'll get an email. For some people, we know that some people do not have devices. There should be executives around that will be able to assist you. See if this works. If it works. Okay, it has now been sent out, so you should get an email with the election information.
Good question. We should probably just run it through the end of the meeting.
I'm not ringing the bell. Yes.
Yeah, we will give a 5-minute warning before we close the election towards the end of the meeting.
There we go.
All right, you should have all just received that email if you are eligible. If it doesn't work, we can always just do a hand vote. Technical difficulties, apologies. I got my email. All right, I think we're going to just leave this open for during the next few reports, and so we will just carry on for expediency's sake because we have a lot to get through. All right, Connor, your report time.
I guess you could say so. Hi, thank you everyone for coming. There's a lot that's happened since the last meeting. I wasn't even in the last meeting because I was busy in Washington, D.C., not advocating. I did not take the fight for DART to the federal level. And I also realized, just looking at some of the stuff I said in our group chats, I just kind of was like, hey guys, DART's like about to die. Please call. And I didn't elaborate. So I think now, is a good chance to just elaborate on everything that happened this month. And what we were dealing with and the current state of the legislation. And, you know, I just also want to give a shout out. A lot of us in this room and a lot of our membership has gone to Austin twice this month, in addition to going to Austin last month for our lobby day. So we've been making a lot of trips to Austin, and that's really cool. And we're doing a lot of good. So thank you, everyone. The reason why we went to Austin was because this bill got a committee hearing, which we did not want to happen because that obviously opens up the possibility that the bill will make it out of committee. So I think there's about 7 or 8 data members who went down to testify against this bill. They woke up at 4 a.m. to go down to Austin by 7 a.m. so they could be on time for the 8 a.m. committee meeting. But the meeting did not get to the DART bill until like 12:30 around, or to like 12 a.m. So our members who went to testify woke up at 4 a.m. and stayed in the Capitol until like 1 a.m., 1:30. Yeah, I wasn't there because we didn't know this, but I could have gone. My work wasn't flexible enough for me to go down, but I guess I could have gone because the meeting started at like midnight, so I could have gone to Austin after work. Yeah, this is the speaker list. So up here, you can see the people who are for. There's 4 people who testified for this bill, and it's just Irving City Council member, the mayor of Plano, the mayor of Highland Park, and the mayor of Carrollton. So 4 people, 3 of them are mayors, 1's a councilman, spoke in support of 3187, but everyone else was against. And when I looked at the public comments left for this bill, which I begged a lot of people to say something, there was 3 people who supported HB 3187, and I think there's like 415 public comments against. Yeah, so this bill is not popular. I also want to shout out everyone who went down to do this committee hearing because it was crazy. So you can stand, you can come up here. I don't know how you want to do it. Brandon Bullock, Hexel, Colorado. Shyam, I don't know how to say your last name. Can you say it? Ganesham. Courtney Hunter. Yeah. Courtney Hunter, Jay Langhurst, Conley, David Yakubian, and Ken Dublé. Seriously, thank all of you so much for spending like 16 hours in Austin and losing all of your sleep. I also want to shout out Ellie Algaze and Daniel Yahalam from Comets for Better Transit group we've worked closely with. They're Richardson UTD-based transit advocates for also showing up. And I
really hope I didn't miss anyone. If I did, you can yell at me. No one's yelling at me. So we're good. I want to give an extra big shout out to Cheyenne. Because, Xander, do you think we have time to partake in this video, this clip of, yes, let's do it. This was some really cool stuff. Yeah. Oh, Kui, I don't know how to do this. We don't pay you. We should, but we don't because we don't have money. It's on the website.
If we have internet. There we go.
Thank you to Chairman Craddock and the Transportation Committee. My name is Shamsundar Ganeshram, and I am representing myself as a member of the Dallas Area Transit Alliance, which we are not affiliated with any external alliances or unions. I'd also like to say that no other.
Just pull the microphone down a little bit.
Sorry.
Great.
I would also like to state that no other person testifying against the bill tonight is not paid, and that I found the prior remark to be rude as it was false.
Okay.
I'm an 8th grader in Frisco, Texas, zip code 75035. I am speaking in opposition to House Bill 3187. I'm a DART rider myself using bus routes 239 to 254, which is one route set to be eliminated, and light rail lines red, orange, and green from Plano and Carrollton. I am here not only because I care about DART, but also because I have a friend who is visually impaired, and due to that, he deeply relies on DART service. He unfortunately couldn't make it to Austin today. The passing of the bill would result in the worsening of not only his life, but many others like him who are disabled and rely on DART service. This bill would result in many disruptions to transportation in general in the region. The 25% budget cut on DART, which this bill targets, would result in longer wait times between bus and rail, 18 bus routes discontinued, and most likely the Trinity Railway Express, the Khmer line owned by DART and Trinity Metro that travels between Fort Worth and Dallas, being discontinued. Security. As a result of this, over 150,000 people per day, which is still a growing statistic according to DART scorecard, will experience many issues with traveling in the region with public transportation. This would also result in security cuts and more than likely additional issues to come. Furthermore, on security cuts, they are a major concern for especially me and many others, as we need DART to stay safe. And in order for that, we need police and security to be highly present. I would also like to go over a few arguments that were made in support of this bill. One argument is that DART isn't cooperative with the member cities. However, as Rowlett showed, they initially supported the 25% budget cuts. Afterwards, DART showed statistics of how much Rowlett benefited off of DART, especially economically, and also worked together with Rowlett, addressing each concern. This caused them to repeal their original resolution, and they instead supported full funding. Second is that the stations, trains, and buses are empty. However, that is simply not true, especially as a DART rider myself. I see many people waiting at stations for the trains and also at transfer centers to catch the bus. And even at the stations and the transfer centers that are said to have lower ridership, quote unquote. Even on the buses, they're also very well filled, and also on the trains. Another is that another jumping back to Rowlett is that it's proved to be a local issues. Respectfully, cities like Lubbock and Houston and Austin shouldn't have the fate on Dallas's transit. Shouldn't decide the fate on Dallas's transit system and vice versa. Lastly is that cities aren't benefiting from DART, but jumping back to Rowlett's case, that has also been proven wrong, showing that member cities are in fact benefiting from DART in many ways. Please oppose House Bill 3187. Thank you.
Thank you, and you did a great job in your
Thank you.
time.
I
Is
also
there
have
any What? Oh. Mr. Patterson has a question. If you get back behind the.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As the dad of an 8th grader, I just want to say you did a great job, and
Thank
your family's got to be super proud of you. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Co-author. Yeah.
Sorry, I have to speak, but I just want to just tell you how inspired I am by your passion, and thank you for staying here so late with us to give your testimony.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Craddock, I do have one question.
Get behind the microphone. You gotta get behind the microphone.
I was not expecting to stay here this late, and
Well, we weren't either, so.
This may be the first time you ever hear this question, but I'm requesting a school note to excuse my absence.
We'll get that done right away. Go right over there and she'll get that done.
Motion to issue school note.
I have one question. Why didn't you sit in a chair? Why were you sitting on the floor?
That's the clip. All right, Chloe's
Where'd
gonna
you
switch
sit?
it up.
That was over there.
And for the record, Frisco ISD did not accept Tom Craddock's school note or ours. We also authored one. They denied it. They're like, nope, we're not going to excuse the absence. Sorry, what, Shyam? Wow. Yeah. I found another testifier. We're not going to watch this clip. Walt Human. He's the founder of DART. He's also responsible. I think he created the plan to desegregate Dallas ISD schools. He's like a local legend around here. And he testified against HB 3187 down in Austin. And he said a quote I found pretty inspirational. He said, in my experience in business and community affairs, there's always a win-win solution if you dig deep enough. And I agree with that. And regardless of what happens, so I think we're going to win. I think there is a win-win solution to be had here somewhere. There's got to be one. This is a picture. I want to get this printed and framed because it's just so iconic to me. Everyone who testified: Chairman Craddock, Nadine Lee, Pat Curry. You all know why I hesitated there. If you know, you know. Randall Bryant. This is a great photo. Courtney's in there. All of our data members and Gary Slagle. It's super cool. By the way, that duck did make it home okay. We saw a picture of the duck in the red line. Now to spill my secrets. So what was going on? That testimony went great. And on May 2nd, I called Tom Craddock's office. And his legislative director overheard my phone call with the staff. And she informed me that Tom Craddock is not going to bring the bill up for a vote. This is awesome. I'm feeling great after that phone call. But she also told me it could change but she was like, our office believes it's a local issue and we're gonna have this community stakeholder meeting. So at this point, I feel great, but I do keep the information to myself because I'm not actually confident that the bill's dead. And it's a good thing I was worried. So Paul Wageman came back. Yeah. And on Monday, the following Monday after my phone call, I mean, this is a rumor, but I have no reason to believe this isn't true. Him and some Southern Dallas County representative, who I will not name yet, I don't think I will, for reasons, went down and asked Tom Craddock to give the bill up, to put the bill up for up to vote, because right now it's dead practically at that moment, and they're essentially reviving it. And Tom Craddock gets so annoyed he actually just caves and does it because he wants to placate the bill supporters and I guess Paul Wageman and the Southern Dallas area. Like Southern Dallas, when I say Southern Dallas, I mean Southern Dallas County, but includes Dallas representative. So he puts the bill up essentially to placate all the people who are annoying him. And, I hear about this on Monday. And a lot of you, I think, will remember on Tuesday morning, I tell all of you, I'm like, everyone, you need to call Tom Craddock now. Like, you need to do this now. And little did I know that when I was telling you all to call Tom Craddock, they were already hosting the meeting where they would vote on HB 3187. So I was a little too late, unfortunately. And yeah, it advances. It actually got voted out of the Transportation Committee. After Terry Canales raised a motion to pass the bill, Terry Canales, used to chair the Transportation Committee, and he said, guys, Plano's gone to us multiple times about this. I think they offered a good faith solution. Yeah, false. This is all false. I think we should vote for the bill. Yeah. Unfortunate. So yeah, I think we are, at this moment, we told all of you to just call your Dallas area reps. The next step is to call calendars, but you're supposed to wait until it's received by calendars before you do that. So I guess I was just hoping, hey, call your own reps. That'll do something. So then the next day, I hear from a very prominent Republican, one who's on our side, which some of you might instantly know who that is. We learned secondhand that this person says they believe HB 3187, if it were to make it to the House floor, would have the votes to get through. And then from another staffer, from another office, we heard a different piece of information. We heard that it's going to make it to the House floor. Yeah, so you can imagine how I felt. At this point, I am stressed and panicking. I'm worried it is over for us. So the next step after a bill gets voted out of committee in the House is it needs to get put on the House calendar by the Calendars Committee. And I guess that became now our opportunity to kill this bill, as in calendars. But, we've heard from multiple people, it's like, hey, you call calendars once it's received. The bill's not being received because the committee report, even though it's voted out of committee, the committee report hasn't been made. But we learned on Friday that Saturday, May 10th, there's going to be a calendars committee meeting. And we were worried about this possibility that the report gets filed at Friday, 10 p.m. and calendars receives it and then they schedule it Saturday. So at 2 o'clock in the last moment, I don't even think we got an email out, and we didn't need to because we just told everyone call calendars now. And we launched our most successful call campaign to date in 1 hour. So it was in partnership with the Texas Street Coalition, Farm and City, Aura Austin, Link Houston, Neighbors for More Housing, DFW Urbanists, or Dallas Urbanists, DFW Urbanistas, all of these partner orgs helped drive calls to calendars. And what I heard was like after Friday and all through Saturday, because they actually did work Saturday weekend, which is unusual. Staffers usually are not answering calls on Saturday, but that Saturday was like a crunch time day, so offices were in. It was like literally the only thing they got calls about. And it like occupied all of their times just answering calls about 3187 and talking about it with you guys. And yeah, and yeah, they just got flooded. They got bombarded with calls and emails. Like Patrick Kennedy pointed out, he's hearing that some reps were getting like hundreds of emails per day about this. And he said to the point where their staff can't deal with anything else but this one issue. Like, and if you look at how many people used our Action Network on May 8th, there's like almost 300 emails there, and it's just so many of you just went really all out and shared this and did everything you can to. I think a lot of you asked your friends for help too. And then on Saturday, so this is the day calendars is open, David, Con, and John, and others, I think, and like some of Xander's friends, just a lot of people went to Austin with like less than 24 hours of notice, by the way. And they filled out these red cards, which is something the calendars committee does. You fill out a red card to oppose a bill, green card to support one. They filled out red cards at all these offices. And as they're going through these offices on Saturday, they are just overhearing all the phone calls that the staffers are having. And they're all answering phone calls about 3187. Like, and we learned that like Tony Rose and Ramon Romero Jr. are on these two calendars committee members are against the bill. And another one I redacted, sorry, strategic reasons. And then like Saturday, 4 o'clock, there's this rumor on Reddit that came up that we've already won and that Tony Rose promised to tag the bill and it was going to die in the House. A lot of you actually asked me to take this, to take this post down. But none of the mods did, and I didn't take it down either. So, because I guess it ended up being true. And yeah, Tuesday, May 13th, this is the last calendars meeting, and I'm just refreshing. I'm just checking Texas Legislator online, making sure 3187 doesn't get scheduled, and then we check at 10 p.m. We go to check because that's like the deadline to get a bill scheduled, right? Yeah, on 10 p.m. I'm there, Quee's there. We're just refreshed. We're just checking a little bit anxiously to see if 3187 got scheduled, and we found that what happened was it died in calendars. Yeah. So it's not over yet because there was a House bill and there was a companion Senate bill. And the deadline for the House to pass out House bills is gone. So any House bill that isn't been voted on yet is dead, including 3187, because the House floor never voted on it. But the Senate bills, your battery is going to die. Yeah. Just a warning. Senate bills have not had their deadline yet. So it's possible that SB 1557 can make it through the Senate, and the deadline for it to get reported out of House committee would be Saturday next week. That is possible. I mean, but here's its path forward, and I think I even missed a few steps, but it needs to get filed, already happened. Needs to be referred to a committee, that already happened. Then it needs to be heard in that said committee it gets referred to. Has not happened. Then it would need to pass out. Has not happened. Placed on the intent calendar, voted on and passed. Needs to be received by the House. And then once it's received by the House, it needs to go through the same process 3187 has gone through all over again. They have to start from scratch because 3187 died. And it needs to be voted on. It needs to be heard in the House committee, voted favorably. Their committee report needs to be made. By the way, the committee report for like 3187 took like a week to make. So a week after. They can do it faster if they want, realistically, if they prioritize it. But this all has to happen. It needs to get out of the committee by Saturday. And then it needs to be scheduled. Oh, that's Sunday. That should say Sunday. But then it needs to be... Which committee? Yeah. I mean, presumably SB 1557, if it does make it out of the Senate, would be referred to transportation again. So while it is unlikely to meet these deadlines, we are monitoring it, and we'll notify you if it starts moving. And if any further action is needed, which I wrote these slides before, we'll talk about it. We'll let you all know. We'll we'll send out an email. We didn't even get a chance to send out an email about the calendar thing because they're already getting flooded with calls, so there's no point. Yeah, thank you all so much for all the phone calls and all the emails and all the trips to Austin and just everything you did. Just for context, SB 1557's on the left, 3187's on the right. SB 1557 has to do basically everything 3187 did in the Senate and the House, and they have 7 days, like 5 working days realistically, or maybe 6 working days. So it's a long shot, and there's thousands of other bills that need to be considered, but it can happen. It's something to to monitor, and SB 1557, what I've heard is that Robert Nichols, the chair of the Transportation Committee, does not want to give it a hearing. So without a hearing, it can't make it out of the Senate, and then it can't go to the House. So we like Robert Nichols. He's good. So Shelby Williams yesterday made this post where he's telling his constituents, I guess, or I don't know, whoever follows his former constituents. Yeah, he's not in. He's asking people to call the Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and Chairman Robert Nichols and get this bill re-referred to a different committee because this bill's dead in transportation. He's going to try to get it re-referred to the State Affairs Committee, which, yeah. Vice Chair Angela Paxton, who is the author of the bill. So, yeah, there's a good chance it would make it out of that committee. There's not a good chance it would go through all these processes in time. Something to worry about. The next State Affairs meeting is on Monday. 3187 still in transportation. I don't know if there's actually enough working days to do this, but we have already heard like once before, oh, this bill's dead. Craddock told us, or Craddock's LD told us, we're not going to hold it up for a vote. Then they held it up for a vote and they made it out of committee. So anything can happen. Yeah, we're monitoring it. But yeah, I think I was in the middle of typing these and then I went in the tunnel in City Place and it didn't update. So yeah, I lost reception because this I found out about it this morning. So I had to update the slides this morning. The governance bills. So these bills, for those who don't remember, we're seeking to change the way dartboard representation works. So Dallas, despite having over half the population, would only get 3 out of 15 votes. And every other city would be on a one city, one vote type of system. So HB 5049 is dead because it didn't make deadlines, and SB 2118 hasn't moved. These bills aren't really much of a threat now, I don't think. Yeah, you have a question. Yeah, I could give that Steel Man. Not right now though, because we are on a bit of time, but I could certainly go over that with you after the meeting. And oh, this is just a slide on data's reach. Hey, quick question. Did you guys want me to talk about the 5% thing today? Or did anyone else have? I'm talking to the exec. Yeah. You covered it? Okay, well, I'll give like a little bit of an update. So obviously we have to worry about this now, and we have to make sure the Senate bill goes nowhere. But DART's gonna have a public hearing on really all throughout the month of June. They're gonna have several public hearings, and I really want to get a lot of us to attend the different meetings and just oppose service cuts. So that way there's that backlash to service cuts is documented and seen. And I do believe we can minimize the service cuts that will happen. If we compromise, there's the chance that alternative funding sources come up. And there's really two components to the compromise DART tried to do that Plano rejected, by the way. So the compromise is one, cut 5% of their budget and reallocate it based on some like equity model based on like services provided. So Plano and Carrollton would get some money back from DART, and so would Park Cities and Farmers Branch. But it only comes out of 5% of DART's budget. Two, make some city service requests. The 5% thing costs DART like $46 million. It's a lot. The city service requests cost DART $15 to $20 million around there. That's a lot. We don't believe they should do both in the same year because that will be too severe. And you know, if they just do the 5% compromise at 41 million, or 46 million, they may be able to find some funding sources for it. And very little of that funding might be able to come out of service cuts. That is the goal. So I've already created a group chat with some of the fellow Richardson folks. We are gonna, as David said, we do want to meet with some council members. We may want to go to some city council meetings, be like, hey guys, you like DART, like our favorable cities like Rowlett or Richardson or Dallas, and be like, hey, please don't let DART do this, or please try to minimize the harm of this, or please find some other solution. And I can handle Richardson. I definitely need someone who knows, like, has some contacts on Dallas City Council. Any hands? Can anyone who does raise their hands, because I might need to be working with you. Okay. We might need to meet with some Dallas City Council members and tell them what's going on with this 5% budget cut. You're raising your hand back there? You have some contacts, you can get us in touch with some? Okay, cool. Oh. Till 8 p.m. on Thursday. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Because I mean, the cuts look pretty bad for 5%. Obviously, DART will still exist, and it's better than the 25%, but it's still, I would have fought this just as hard if the service cuts coming out of 3187 were what we're seeing proposed. And now what we're seeing proposed is also worst case scenario. But yeah, 5% we're monitoring. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Trinity Railway Express would be 1 hour all day long too. I don't even know if Trinity Railway Express can fit all the passengers that ride during rush hour on a 1 hour headway. Like, have any of you ridden a rush hour TRE train? Is there room to fit all those people in a once per hour headway? I don't even know. I've seen standing room at like 4 o'clock. Like standing room only. Yeah, you would lose some, Ryder. Yeah, so okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. I couldn't see in the corner of my eye.
One thing we can do for sure right now is bombard the Senate the same way we did the House. And I mean, start the minute we get out of this building and start bombarding the Senate the same way, because it will fail in the Senate the same way if we do.
Ah, so you think we should call Robert Nichols like on Monday when his office opens, or? Okay. Yeah, I think if we get some calls on Robert Nichols saying, "Hey, don't give this building," that might be good. I'm actually slightly worried that drawing attention, I don't know, but I think getting some calls would definitely be good. Mm, so we want to counter that. Hmm. Sure. So what I'm hearing is you guys want to show up Shelby Williams's engagement. So ooh, that's true. The police union is kind of for this bill. So if they get all their police officers to call in support, that could be a lot of people. I am out of time. Tyler.
Tyler, if you'll give me just 1 second.
Yeah.
We still need more people to vote. It looks like only 24 people have. Oh, you couldn't get it. Okay. We will help out folks who weren't able to get the voting. We'll leave it open through the end of the meeting, probably. Just wanted to call it out there. And okay, Tyler.
Okay. How do I sound? All right. So, hey, everybody. I don't have a lot today. And it's a little tangential. But I think there's turn it up. Oh, it's not me. It's yeah. Okay. Yeah, can we do this in another spot? I'm cool with the side conversations, but it distracts me up here. Okay, so we've got a lot on our plate right now through the end of the legislative session, as well as the 5% fight that's coming up. But it's soon to start thinking about future goals. So I want you guys to think of all of your big brain craziest ideas that we want to advocate for, assuming it's a direct or at worst like first degree benefit to public transit, which is the scope of our organization. Want to hear them. So start thinking about them. And I think maybe this time next meeting, I'll probably announce the formation of an ad hoc committee related to gathering feedback for the future. So they would help me design surveys, other kind of engagement within the membership, as well as some of our partner orgs. So we can kind of figure out, what do we fight for next? And I think, so keep a notebook next to your bedside table or on your notes app, and if you got any ideas, the time for sharing them will be coming soon. So look out for that. And I think, this wasn't on my original presentation, but a quick aside. So once we're through with this fight and the 5% GMP, our cause gets a little less focused. That's natural. That's okay. If we win a couple battles, there may be kind of a relaxation period where, the need and the urgency is a little bit lower. So, we may not be seeing exponential growth like we have been. I don't want you guys to be scared of that. I just want you to know that that's okay. That's part of the gig. As bigger things come up, we'll have more people kind of ebb and flow with active participation. Just know that's going to be part of the deal as we go into the next phase of our membership. Okay, mental health. So burnout is real. Been through it. It sucks. I'm kind of on the edges of it right now, and I want to caution you guys against it. You've all done great work, and we're kind of almost in a position to recuperate a bit. So make sure you get your sleep, have some fruits and vegetables, focus on your school or your careers, exercise, see your friends and family. We may be some of your friends and family. That is fine. We don't have to talk about just transit policy. We can talk about other things as friends. So please make some time for that. Even if you don't feel like you have to, try to make some time to just like enjoy your lives because you've earned it. Protect yourselves so we can protect each other longer. Well, you've got me. Any questions for the vice president about anything? I can answer a couple more. I saw somebody. Yes, you. Howdy. Sure. I don't know if we have any extras at this time, but we will have future runs of these shirts. Those shirts. Promise. Yeah, Tammy. Mhm. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think we're still going to be having regular meetings, regular communications. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Okay. I saw somebody. Yes, Phyllis. Hmm. Yeah, I think so. We may not be making action networks or interstate campaigns about it, but I think it's definitely something that can be part of like, hey, I'm doing this, would love you guys to come to a city council meeting to support me on this issue, or something like that. And I think, kind of supporting some of the cities in more of a decentralized pattern may kind of be like a next step until at least the next legislative session or something like that. Okay, so yes, done. Mhm. Okay, yeah. Okay, sweet. Yeah, I might either here at the happy hour. Okay, cool. All right, that's it for me. So let's move on to the next one. Alex, done?
My report is vote in the election. Thank you. That's all.
All right, David, it's all you.
Oh.
You don't have any slides. Oh, okay.
I told y'all I can be lazy sometimes. No, okay. Again, just to reemphasize, if you happen to know local or state officials and you want to help set up a meeting, especially if you're a constituent with said official, please talk to me. That'd be extremely helpful. Um, especially if you're friendly with any conservative or Republican representatives. We want to definitely build our allies in that department, given they have a larger control of the state currently. And again, we want to be prepared and not let this, we don't want to do the same song and dance, in a couple of years. So just putting that extra work in now and building those relationships can help us as we look more long term. But, even in the short term as we fight this 5% situation. And trying to think what else. I should be talking to Fort Worth Star Telegram at some point, potentially. I know they kind of reached out a while back. I already told y'all about, I think, KERA and NPR. If y'all know anyone who wants to talk to Data, who's in the media, or maybe who's an influencer, have them reach out to me or Rohan. Influencer thing is a little more, your direction. But anyway, just throwing that out there. I think that's it. I just that we already have support on both sides of the aisle. We would like the right side of the aisle to be a little stronger, especially since it was Republicans who introduced these bills. But we do have Republican conservative support, if you will, when it comes to supporting public transit, supporting DART. An uncle of mine, for example, he's a Republican. He fought very hard twice to bring DART into Duncanville. Unfortunately, if you don't already know, Duncanville's not a member of DART, but anyway, that's it. Yeah.
We also have like some good relationships with some staffers. Like we have a good relationship with Senator Bob Hall's office right now. They're very friendly to us. And we've met. We got like some confirmation that like Ben Bumgarner and Angie Chin Button are on our side on this issue. So, but we would like more because on the Democrat side, we have a much larger list right now. So try to get, Bill up on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, if you're a constituent, even if maybe you don't necessarily vote for those folks, if you're a constituent, just by being a constituent, I mean, they represent you. So whatever the case may be, if you can help, if you're either friendly with the office or a constituent of said office, please help us set up a meeting. Yes.
I would also say that part of the reason that we want to, not antagonize and be friendly to, the more conservative side of the aisle is because we want to prevent this from becoming a partisan issue that
Right.
just splits these on one side, ours on the other.
Exactly.
Because that's how we are just not going to win in any world. And so it's important to maintain those kinds of, political relationships just to, be strategic. And you don't have to love them, but they're who you've got to work with. So
Right. And I mean, look at DART itself. You have like Gary Slagle and Mark Enoch, who are more conservative gentlemen. And then you got Randall Bryant, who's a more liberal gentleman. And those men were working, hand in hand together, advocating. Shout out to Mark Enoch for such a strong speech at the House Transportation Committee. Man of Steel over there. He fought, very hard, spoke out very strongly in supporting DART and what it does for us and for our, our communities, our region. So yeah. Any other questions? Otherwise, go ahead, Ken. Sure. Yeah. That's an excellent question. I understand. Yes, I've definitely been pointing that out to everyone, whichever side of the aisle they're on. Why are they doing this? And clearly, they're attempting to circumvent the will of the voters, something we've emphasized. I think that's something that resonates across the ideological spectrum when you're circumventing the will of the voters so clearly. And clearly, there's no, again, no grassroots support in favor of this bill. This has just been city council members and mayors and just public officials supporting this, but no everyday average Joe people supporting this. Mhm. Oh yeah, that is part of it. Mhm. Yeah, sure. Well, let me pause you there. I don't want to get too in the weeds. Go ahead, Warren. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mhm. Yeah. Okay, last one, Tammy. I mean, that can be part of the narrative, but I don't think that's the true motivation. That, yeah, they did. Again, that's more of a red herring rather than their actual motivation. I do want to emphasize that they will bring up security and stuff like that very quickly. I'll go ahead and give you one more, but I want to wrap it up. Uh, Well, that's a. I don't want to rehash old things, but yeah, basically, long story short, they want some of their money back. They're not really clear about what they want to do with it, and so on. And again, for those of y'all who are a little more new to this issue, please join us on GroupMe and Discord, and we can help educate you and bring you up to date. And I think that covers that. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Khan. I'm the policy research chair. Let's start. So let's go over the city council elections. Plano, half of its city council has been replaced. So far, they seem a little friendlier, potentially, with transit. Looking on next door, reviews are negative on the new council, which is a good thing for us. So it's a good opportunity to get to know them, like David said, what we've been saying, get to know this new council, make new relationships, see where they're at, and try to work with them. So they don't get an idea to do this ever again, hopefully. In Dallas, Mark Rousseau lost. Kara is still reigning in District 12. I had a conversation with Mark about this, and we both agree Kara has a Facebook army. her constant posting on Facebook, on Nextdoor, has a very dedicated number of people that will come out every election to vote for her. And it was just, and Mark is just getting his name out and just getting people to remember his name. And it's hard to compete with that, unfortunately, especially in a May election where there's only 2,000 people voting. In D12, which is the hard part. Oh, yeah, you're right. Irving, unfortunately, Priscilla and Tony both lost, but both of them lost by 49 votes and 41 votes. Every single vote counts. Yeah. Oh, yes. District 11 going to a runoff. So look at Irving's results and realize that it could be flipped with just about 40 votes. But they need to be in D11. Okay. Jeff Kittner. Yes. Over in Addison, Bruce Arfson is, I don't think he had anyone running against him. We do have a new council member because Nancy Craig lost. Marlon Willison, is it Randy Smith? Oh, I was looking at the results and his name is on there. Anyway, Randy Smith is the new guy. In Richardson, Omar Amir has won. He's new, but he's also friendly. Garland. Yes. Let's keep going. In Garland, Dylan Hedrick is in a runoff, June 7th, and you got Jeff Wingett. He won over in Rowlett. So upcoming elections. There's an election every year, every single year. There's an election every single year. This year, still we have the constitutional election with the amendments, depending on what comes out and what gets signed by the governor. We'll keep an eye on anything that affects us in terms of transit and update you guys on that. And then you have the primary election. Now, why do we have to worry about that when it's almost a year away? You're going to have guys coming out of the woodwork, especially in this crazy political cycle. There's going to be people who see opportunity and they're going to say, I think I can do this. And just keep an eye out on your local state senator, state representative. I guess if you want Congress, but really we're worried about the state. So look at who comes out in the primary, kind of vet them out, see if they're for real. If they are, if they're good, let us know. Maybe we'll, have a chance to talk to them. Because last election we just started and we were just rushing candidates in like 2-3 weeks before the election. And I think it'd be better if we could get to meet the candidates a couple of months before the election. Just to kind of have some dialogue with them, see who they are, see how they're like, see if they support our cause. So, all right, going to Transit 2.0. It's kind of draft version still. This QR code will take you to the website. That'll show you a bunch of documents. It's a lot of reading. I haven't gone through all of it yet. But basically, their strategy, the strategy that they recommend is build up dense commercial and residential hubs around the rail stations or around transit centers. That's what. And that increases ridership, increases tax revenue. They can increase frequency. They were talking about 5 to 10 minute headways on light rail, like potentially, just as an example. And maybe they can even think about expansion with some strategies. So really, they're looking at the population growth outside of the DART area. Right now, 47% of the North Central Texas region is in a DART membership area. In 2050, it's going to be 38%. And they also noted that the COG noted that DART is actually very efficient with their dollars. They're among the top of the transit agencies. But that also means that they have less leeway to do any more expansions after Silver Line, because they are basically using up all the money that they have in the most efficient manner. They almost have no surplus. So, during the study, the consultants realized that building for density around the existing rail corridors is the best bang for the buck, more so than expansion of new rail lines. And with Transit 2.0 recommendations, if they're implemented, they see about 65% increase in ridership by 2050. Well, let's look at the expansions that they were looking at. It's 160 new miles of regional and light rail. I mean, that Frisco line up north, that goes all the way to Salina. Salina? I can never... Salina! Salina! I've been here for 12 years, but I'm still a transplant, sorry. Looks good, right? This looks awesome. But they said if they build all this out, you're going to have maybe 2% more in transit ridership compared to baseline if they do nothing. And it'll cost $15 billion. So they said, let's do a strategic expansion. They recommended the extension of the Green Line further down, Tex Rail and east of Silver Line, and the Frisco and McKinney line. They recommended it because those are growing population centers. Basically, they are North DFW focused, which I would guess some of you guys would have thoughts about that. Okay, that's nice. How do we get new member cities? You know, we all know that the 2% cap on sales tax limits it's such a constraint that there hasn't been any new member cities in any transit agency, because they're using that entire 2% on other stuff. It's tied up in bonds, it's tied up in tax rebates, what have you, and because they have their own agendas to pursue. And there's a couple of funding solutions. Maybe you should make the transit agencies a self-regulating tax authority like ISDs and use ballot measures to get funding. Create a county-wide or multi-county transportation funding area to levy taxes or fees. Maybe have the new cities get money from the RTC or COG, you know, and just kind of, they call it a feathering it in. So they'll get money from the COG and they will pay DART. And then eventually the money from the COG is going to decrease as they shift their budgets towards paying DART that 1 cent, right? And COG also wants to take non-member city leaders and take them out to a conference, take them out to presentations, basically introduce them to the idea of transit and transit-induced economic benefits, and just educating the people who say like, well, I don't see any benefit in transit, right? Well, let's show them a benefit. Let's show them the benefit for transit. I need to get through this. We have little time. Sorry. And also one thing the study recommended or theorized could happen is that since the RTC and COG gets federal money for what the transit agencies are doing in terms of the Clean Air Act, right? They get funding due to the Clean Air Act because basically DART, Trinity Metro, DCTA, they're kind of shouldering the burden of matching the Clean Air Act, following the Clean Air Act. And the entire region is getting funding out of it. Maybe they should prioritize those monies towards the transit agency cities to incentivize the non-transit agency cities into joining a transit agency, right? The carrot and the stick. I don't know why they haven't used the stick before now, but you know. Also, they also recommended the authorities having clear rules on joining or entering it into a contract because we have 3 transit agencies. DART's the most stringent in terms of a contract system. They have 3-year contracts, and then after the 3 years, the cities have to have a clear membership entry plan. And it's a lot of ideas. You know, it's maybe COG takes a more central role. Maybe they become the regional management authority over all the transit agencies, and they determine what the criteria is to join a transit agency. Maybe DART can offer a la carte services. Maybe they can get funded through tax increment financing, which is what, TERS or whatever it is. So on and so forth. Flexible contracting, different membership plans. Basically, hey, we'll just give you busing and GoLink. You'll pay a little less, and then we'll work you towards getting the rail service if you start paying more, or something. Basically, the what they have to get over is the funding issue, because the cities are already using the full 2%. And that's up to DART to try to figure out from this Transit 2.0 study how they want to go about it with help from the COG. And I don't have a slide, but TERS is almost there with DART, and I believe they're putting it to a vote next month, right? Yeah, they're putting it to a vote. You don't have time to go over it. I know Connor's gone over it in previous meetings. There's minor changes to how they're going to implement it, and that's about it. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. Mhm. Basically the hope is that they want that 25%, right? Those 5 cities. TERS might become a big enough deal to make up for most of that 25% they don't, because it's kind of a tax revenue sharing program, I guess. That's, yeah, something like that. So, all right, thank you for your time. Next. Yeah. Okay, are we done? For that?
I think we are done. Oh yeah, we need to close the election. So I'm gonna say something, and someone's gonna probably hate me for this. Have all members voted? Have you voted yet, Hector? You haven't?
So does anybody who wanted to vote have any issues voting? No?
Yeah.
What we can do is we can see the results of the election, and if the result is not to your intention, we can correct your vote. Or
Well, we can't pull votes, okay?
Alternatively, we could just do a hand vote right here just to be sure.
We could. If it doesn't work out for adoption of bylaws,
Who here had trouble voting with the system that? Okay.
it was either all random or none random. No, it was either all random or none random when I was setting it up. So like it's either all the questions are randomized or none of them are randomized. So like for example, like we'll figure it out. And okay, Hector, did you finish? It's on a website.
You should have gotten an email
You should have gotten an email.
from OPA Vote. You good? You submitted? Okay.
We are closing.
All right, we are closing the election in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, seems like nobody has any issues with us closing the election. So okay, I think that is all we have for today. So, oh, well, I guess we need to announce the results. Yeah, yeah, we do.
It is not going.
Okay.
With there being 32 votes, I am proud to announce that David is now our new external affairs chair. Okay, the adoption of bylaws. We have an overwhelming adoption of bylaws with, I cannot read the number. Someone with 31 votes and probably one. And with the adoption of our code of conduct with a vote of 27 and 3. Therefore, the bylaws are now adopted as well as the code of conduct.
I move to adjourn.
Did you move to adjourn?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
I second the adjournment.
All in favor?
What? 60. Yeah, just give it just 1 second here. I am.